Hey there, and good morning. Welcome to the JeepSolid Garage. So today we're going to be talking about oxygen sensors, and if you get a check engine light on your vehicle and the code indicates that it might be an oxygen sensor, why you don't want to just throw new oxygen sensors at it, because they're expensive. You may as well just test them. So let's go over how to test your oxygen sensors. Now this is solely my daughter's 1997 Jeep Cherokee XJ with the inline 6 4-liter engine, and I was getting the error code P0171, and that can actually be quite a few different things. It can be a dirty or faulty mass airflow sensor, vacuum leaks, a fuel supply issue or dirty or clogged fuel injectors, an exhaust leak, or a faulty O2 sensor. So the bottom line, the Jeep is running rough. I believe it's the O2 sensor because initially at start, it runs actually fairly smooth. Once it's warmed up, or where the oxygen sensor should be warmed up, I think the ECM is getting just mixed signals from the O2 sensor. That's the O2 sensor's job, is to give the ECM a signal, say, hey, this is the oxygen level I'm reading, increase or decrease the fuel. The PCM starts trying to compensate. That's why we're getting the black smoke, is it starts dumping too much fuel in. And yes, the 171 error code is too lean, meaning not enough fuel. But what is happening is the ECM is sensing not enough fuel, so the PCM starts dumping all that extra fuel in. That's why you're getting a too lean code, but you're getting too much fuel injected. Make sense? Now this 97 Cherokee has two oxygen sensors. The first one is right up here by the oil pan, and this is pre-cat. And the second one is right back here behind the catalytic converter. That's the one we're gonna test, just because it's a little easier to reach. We're gonna test them both, but I'm gonna show you guys on this one. Okay, I got the wire disconnected up there out of the harness. And this is a 4-wire oxygen sensor. There's 3-wire, 2-wire, 1-wire, and 4-wire. The 4-wire here, so this has, let's see, 2 white ones, a gray one, and a black one. The 2 white ones, these go to our heater, so the oxygen sensor has a little heater in it. And then the black and the gray one is a ground and the other one is a sensor. The 3-wire, you have the 2 for the heater, the sensor, then the ground is just in the sensor itself. And then the 1-wire is just ground and a sensor, there's no heater. Most cars nowadays, though, have these 4-wire systems. So we're gonna test these real quick. So first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna check for voltage. Make sure that this oxygen sensor is getting voltage down to it. There we go. Okay, my sensor wires, let's say it was hooked up like this right here. So my bottom 2 wires, these go to my heater on the oxygen sensor, because they're the 2 white wires. So I know the 2 top wires here, my gray and black one, that is my sensor and my ground. So I know these top 2 pins here are my sensor and ground. We're gonna make sure that we got some voltage running there. So I got my voltmeter here, and we are on 20 DC volts. And let's see what kind of reading we're getting here. Not sure if you guys can see that, but it's 1.57. Yeah, 1.57 volts. So we are getting power down here. Let's check the front one real quick. So I went ahead and disconnected the front oxygen sensor here. I got my 2 wires hooked up to the sensor and ground, and we're getting 1.68 volts here as well. Okay, now we're gonna switch our meter over to ohms. We're gonna go down here to our lowest setting on ohms, which is 200. And we're gonna check on the oxygen sensor side. We're gonna check these 2 white wires, the 2 wires that are the same color. And our resistance here should be between 5 and 7 ohms. Yeah, let's see if I can do this. I need 3 hands to do this, show you guys and film, but let's see, I'm getting, where's my resistance? Come on. Yeah, 6.8 ohms. I don't know if you guys can see that. There you go, 6.7, 6.6 ohms, so that checks out. Okay, now while you guys weren't looking, I went ahead and warmed the vehicle up to operating temperature, and I have jammed a wire into the sensor side. So my gray wire and black wire here, I have one wire on each side going down to my voltmeter, and my voltmeter is set on the 20 volts right now. And what we're going to look for, we're going to start the vehicle up, and we're going to look for the volts to fluctuate between 0.1 and 1 volt. And what that is, that's the oxygen sensor sending a signal to the ECM of how much oxygen it's receiving. So we want that between 0.1 and 1. Let's check it out. And yeah, as you can see, this back sensor, I was getting 0 volts. The front sensor, I was getting some voltage and some fluctuation, which is what you want. This back one though, I'm gonna double check this guy again. Our sensor wire. And our ground. And yeah, I'm getting 0.05, maybe a half of a volt. Or no, I'm sorry, not a half of a volt, 0.05, 0.04. So that confirms that I've got some bad oxygen sensors on Sully here, so we'll be replacing those. All right, we got the new sensors installed, so let's check out what those look like. Right now I'm just warming the engine back up to operating temperature. It sounds really good. That new water pump we installed, working just great. And as you guys can see, I got the new oxygen sensor installed, but let's disconnect it here and test with the new oxygen sensor what the voltage output looks like there. So there we go. As you can see with the new sensor, we were getting some good variation in our amperage, our voltage output from the sensor. So we know this is a good working sensor, which it should be because it's brand new. So there you go. So oxygen sensors on these vehicles last typically 100 to 150,000 miles. I think this Cherokee has 120,000 miles on it, so it's about time to change these. But instead of just throwing money at your vehicle and replacing things when you're not sure what the problem is, try to diagnose it a little bit farther, run some tests like we did here. These new oxygen sensors that I'm using on my Cherokee, I'll be sure to include a link to them in the description below where you can find them. Thank you guys so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Check out my next video right up here and have a good day.